Audio Jungle.
Hello Philippines and hello world. My name is Nicole Campo, your host. Welcome to Think Talk, where we always think the talk. I hope our viewers are all doing well. Today, we are going to talk about a very relevant and timely topic, the proliferation of false information. Some of you might already know it, but for the benefit of the doubt, let's all watch this video clip.
I believe deeply in the power of communications to change the world. And as a communications professional, I've been alarmed over the last several years at the proliferation of false information all over the internet. You've maybe seen it as well. And during the last presidential cycle in 2016, it really reached a fever pitch. People were sharing and posting things that were patently untrue and really alarming. And about this time, a distant family member of mine posted something about Barack Obama that was easily disproved. It wasn't true. And now, mind you, everyone has their opinion and you're entitled to your opinion. And there's lots of reasons not to like or agree with someone. But let's not get our knickers in a knot about information that's not even real, things that aren't true. So I had made mistakes on the internet before and posting things that weren't necessarily true, and people had kindly pointed it out to me. So I believed that this woman would feel the same way as I did, welcome the redirection. And I was wrong, and she no longer comes to Thanksgiving. So that's what misinformation can do and how it can harm us. And I think that we live in a scary time. People don't know who they can trust. They don't know what they can trust. And when that happens, it's easy to manipulate people. So I believe in the news media as the fourth estate. I believe, like our forefathers, that the news media is here to hold us accountable and to help us understand what's important and discern fact from fiction. So the media has been eroding over the last several years, and there's a lot of reasons for that. It's sort of a circular thing, right? The fewer people read and listen to media, the less news product they can put out, and then the fewer people read and listen. So it's become a real problem. And yet news media is here to help us, here to provide the information we need to make the decisions that govern our lives. Most credible news sources will employ professional journalists who adhere to a code of ethics because of their profession. They do their very best to provide information that's unbiased and factual. They're all human, people make mistakes, but that's for the most part, that's what they do.
So, as mentioned in the video, the proliferation of false information is so alarming. People are sharing and posting things that were not true and really distressing. When sharing news, people often don't stop and think about whether the article could be fake. And in an age of instant internet access and social media platforms, news is shared to millions at the touch of a button. And therein lies the danger. We already know that fake news is deliberately meant to mislead people and to change the way they think about someone and something. Fake news is being used to manipulate people's viewpoint. It has become widespread in the internet age, and it is a real problem. Yet, news media is here to give assistance, to provide information that we need to make the decisions that govern our lives. It helps us to be accountable and understand what is important and recognize fact from opinion. However, we must be media literate, since not everything that we see on the internet are real. So, what exactly is media literacy and why is it important? Media literacy is the ability to think critically about the information you consume and create. It includes the ability to distinguish fact from opinion and to understand how media can sometimes be used to persuade people. Media literacy is important because it is the basis for being an informed and critical thinker in a world where technology and media are prevalent, helping to immunize people against undue persuasion and false information. Now that we watched the video, may we call in our special guests who will be joining us for today's discussion. Please welcome Ms. Mai Kinabong, Ms. Marisa Soliman, Mr. Charel Galang, Mr. Akim Bautista, and Mr. Harold Yumul. Welcome to our show. Thank you for being with us here today. It's my pleasure to meet you. So, as I mentioned earlier, we will be tackling the proliferation of fake news. Now, we will talk about a particular article entitled National Task Force to End Local Communist Armed Conflict, or the NTF-LCAC statement on Robredo's CPP alliance. It was mentioned there that VP Leni Robredo's camp should stop insulting the intelligence of the Filipino people by pretending they have not made a pact with the devil, the communist terrorist, CPP, NPA, NDF. In other words, the article is claiming that our Vice President Leni Robredo is being officially endorsed by the communist terrorist groups. My question is, what is your opinion about this? Is it true or not? Can you give us a specific sentence or paragraph from the article and kindly explain it? Can I ask Ms. Nabong first?
My chosen line from the article is, and so we are sorry to tell those who have given their precious trust to the VP that she has betrayed us all. My opinion about this line is, an allegation is still an allegation. Without facts presented, same with the crime case, that when there is no concrete evidence, it is still on pending. Trust is essential to the point that you let others enter your life and let them be part of it. It could be considered as the slanderous accusation, as the allegation, together with the alleged, will face cases as what is being stated is the threat in democracy of our state. Above all the desires of our official, their personal issues should not be involved and be set aside. Betrayal is being promoted in the public to the point that aims to ruin the relationship of the others. But again, it is up to the people whom they trust on and believe.
Good idea, Ms. Nabong. Thank you for your opinion. How about Ms. Soliman? Can I hear it from you?
Every Filipino who's had the audacity to ask for our trust must be able to stand united with the nation and do this simple act. And my opinion about this line is, it is very important to make a stand during these very dire and uncertain times, especially when the country's future is at stake. No more sitting on the fence, neutrality and passiveness. Make a stand and fight for what is just and right.
Nice opinion, Ms. Soliman. Thank you. How about Mr. Galang?
I chose the line, and anything that benefits this terrorist organization means more pain and suffering for the Filipino people. In this sentence, you can see immediately and you can be sure that what is stated in this article is fake. How could a mother who wants to lead the whole country ally with communists and terrorists, right? She wants a clean government and uplift the lives of the Filipinos. So how come she will join such organizations? And to all people who read this article must think twice before believing in such allegations and proliferation. We must have a fact information before believing.
Well said, Mr. Galang. Thank you for that. Let's proceed to Mr. Bautista. What do you have in mind, sir?
I choose the line, VP Leni Robredo's camp should stop insulting the Filipino intelligence. I choose this line because of the word insulting. It took my attention because she or they are also a Filipino. It's not right for us to be insulted by our co-Filipino, especially she is our Vice President who needs to help us improve our country and economy and not insulting us. So, to cut it short, my opinion is that she and her camp should take an action to help other Filipino who's suffering, especially in this time of pandemic. So we must help each other and don't make this personal because I know there is some BPLAN supporters in here. It's just my opinion.
Great idea. Thank you, Mr. Bautista. Lastly, Mr. Yumul, can we hear your point of view?
Thank you, Ma'am Nicole. I choose this line or sentence. The Vice President should stop insulting our intelligence. Further, by pretending this endorsement is completely one way with no participation on her part. I choose this because it's take two tango. You can do such a transaction by yourself. They are claiming Vice President form an alliance with NPA. It sounds convincing, but there is no public report to that matter. And then my own opinion, furthermore, that information is false statement and no one can defend the fact about it. If it is true, then Vice President Leni has to be candidate for disqualification. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Yumul, and thank you to our guests for sharing their opinions. Well, if you will ask me, I will agree with what Mr. Galang said. This article can possibly contain baseless accusations on the Vice President because as a presidential candidate, why would someone make a pact with communists and terrorists wherein her goal is to lead for the welfare of everyone and betterment of our country? So, we can say that this article is very opinionated one. Not everyone will agree, some may disagree. There aren't enough evidence to say that it is true, but we can also state otherwise that it is not real. That is why it's very important to fact-check an information before spreading it online. We must read an article from legit source and watch news from an unbiased media and avoid biased media. Well, speaking of this, media bias is the biased opinions of news distributors when selecting which stories and events get covered and broadcasted. This is an extremely important issue to tackle. Without the knowledge of media literacy, people could completely miss or misinterpret the huge events that are happening due to media bias. Journalists and news producers often paint situations in a light that favors one side of the story. We need to be able to form our own opinions and views on situations. Media bias can lead to consumers not getting a full understanding of scenarios and topics, and affect our opinions massively. This is why media literacy is important. It allows us to think critically about the information we take in. But the question is, how can you spot fake news? We can consider the source and other stories coming from that source, and ask yourselves these questions. Do they ring true? Is the URL legitimate? Does the news story seem one-sided or biased toward a particular point of view? Also, consider the article's author. Is there an evidence that it's a real person? We can search for the source and author to see what else they've published and what others are saying about them. And there are more ways in how to fact-check and spot fake news. Moving on, we will also talk about a film titled Richard Jewell. Let's see how this movie is connected to our topic. Let's all watch the trailer.
Let's get a new tape going. All right, Richard, here's what we're going to do.
We need a voice exemplar.
I want you to say into this phone, there's a bomb in Centennial Park. You have 30 minutes.
Richard, you're a national hero now.
Thank you, sir. But I was just doing my job.
You've always always look at the guy who found the bomb, just like you always look at the guy who found the body.
Jewel fits the profile of the lone bomber.
A frustrated white man who is a police wannabe who seeks to become a hero.
We're running it. You're a suspect. You don't talk. I talk. Say it. I don't talk.
This might be the only way to clear your name. I want you to say there's a bomb in Centennial Park. You have 30 minutes.
Stop trying to be their best friend.
I was raised to respect authority.
Authorities are looking to eat you alive.
There's a bomb in Centennial Park. You have 30 minutes.
I'm sorry, what?
His accusers are two of the most powerful forces in the world. The United States government and the media.
I do want to help y'all. I'm law enforcement too. There is a bomb in Centennial Park. You have 30 minutes.
Did he do it?
Richard Jewell is an innocent man. He's a hero.
There is a bomb in Centennial Park. You have 30 minutes.
One more time, just a little louder.
I report the facts.
You've ruined this man's life.
There is a bomb in Centennial Park. You have 30 minutes.
Do a couple in a row.
My son saved people's lives.
There is a bomb in Centennial Park. You have 30 minutes.
You set that bomb.
There is a bomb in Centennial Park. You have 30 minutes.
I don't know how to protect you.
I think your client is guilty as hell.
They want to fry you.
You ready to start fighting back?
So, through watching the trailer, we can have a hint where specifically it talks about. But let us further discuss the important details with the help again, of course, of our guests today. Miss Nabong, how do you find the movie?
I found it very interesting, but at the same time, I felt sad of what happened to the lead character because it's talk about there's an issue of spreading false information about a person.
Please tell us more of it.
Okay, let me introduce the characters of the film. Richard Jewell, the main character, Barbara Jewell, aka Bobby, Richard's mother, Attorney Watson Bryant, Richard's lawyer, Agent Tom Shaw of the FBI, Katie Schwab, the journalist who spread the fake news against Richard Jewell, David Duchess, Richard Friend, and Nadia, Attorney Bryant's secretary.
Thank you for informing us. Next, how about its concept? Miss Suleiman, kindly explain it to us.
The film depicts the July 27 Centennial Olympic Park bombing and its aftermath. As security guard, Richard Jewell finds a bomb during the 1996 Summer Olympics in Atlanta, Georgia, and alerts authorities to evacuate, only to later be wrongly accused of having placed the device himself.
Oh, so how it all started. How about Mr. Gala?
During the 1996 Summer Olympics, Richard Jewell discovered a bomb in Centennial Park on July 27, 1996. Thanks to Jewell's quick thinking, he was able to evacuate dozens of people just before the bomb exploded, saving untold lives. He was heralded as a hero. He was all over the news, but it didn't take long because Tom Shaw and his team suspected that he was behind the bombing.
And why was he wrongfully accused?
It's because he fixed the white male wannabe police officer and the common perpetrators who committed such crimes. They thought that he did that himself to be recognized as a hero by rescuing people from the crime he made.
Well, that is sad. What happened after the accusation? How did Richard Jewell react to it?
After all the allegations and news speculation, he stayed calm knowing that he didn't commit the crime. But at the same time, he was worried about his brother because of the investigation which invaded their privacy.
Oh, so that's how the story progresses. Next, how is the proliferation of false information shown in the movie? Mr. Bautista?
Because of the journalist named Kathy who wrote the fake news about Richard Jewell, the fake news was released by the use of newspaper and media. Reporters and TV anchors reported it on their show that makes Richard famous not being the hero but the suspect in bombing in the park. The news was spread because of the media and the reporters.
Would you like to add something, Mr. Gala?
The spread of false information appeared the day that Katie published the fake news she thought of, until it trended throughout the national news and became talked about with all the paparazzi and to all people of the nation.
My last question would be, how did Richard Jewell prove his innocence? Who helped him clear his name as a suspect?
I will mention some important gists, events, and how Richard overcame the accusation. Richard and Bryant goes to Katie's workplace to tell her that everything she spread in the news is wrong. Bryant started an argument, but Katie keeps on saying that she only reports facts. After that scene, from the park, Katie went to the payphone and thought that Richard Jewell couldn't do the bombing, because the distance and time did not match for Richard to call and alert the 911 that there is a bomb in Centennial Park and you only have 30 minutes. Katie then finds Tom Shaw at a bar, and Katie told him that Richard was not the culprit in the park bombing. Tom replied that he knew, which means Tom knew from the very start that Richard was not the real suspect. Another important scene in the movie was when Watson Bryant called a press so that Richard's mother, Bobby, could express her thoughts and convey her grievance to the president. She told the press that her son was innocent, not a murderer, and her son saved lives. Richard was a hero. She begs the president to please clear her son's name. And personally, my heart is breaking when I saw Bobby crying in front of the press. Imagine if you were in the place of a parent who all your life knew that your son had dedicated himself to his job and especially to his dream of becoming a police officer. Then instantly, you and your son's life will be ruined because of an accusation. Moving forward, the day of the trial came. Richard and Bryant went to the main office of the FBI where he was interviewed. As he was questioned, he asked them if they had anything that could be charged against him. Then the FBI did not answer, which means his name is clear. Then 88 days later, while Richard and Watson taking their breakfast, Tom Shaw arrived and handed over a paper to Watson that had written, "Not considered a target in the federal criminal investigation into the July 27, 1996 Centennial Park bombing," which means that Richard is not the suspect of the bombing. And after 6 years, the real suspect in the bombing, named Eric Rudolph, surrendered and confessed the bombing at the Centennial Park. And that's how Richard overcome the false accusation. I must say that the author of this film, Billy Ray, is really good. That his works like Captain Phillips and Richard Jewell became sensational.
Again, thank you so much for sharing those information with us. We are more enlightened about the movie and informed how the proliferation of fake news was shown there. This film is certainly good and noteworthy because it tackles the life of a person who became a hero and a suspect in a snap of a finger. The hero became a villain in people's eyes, but there is no evidence to prove that he is the person behind the bombing. He was a victim of fake news, and in the end, it was proven that it is impossible for him to commit the crime, that he isn't the real culprit. However, the damage has been done. His reputation was tarnished. This film was meant to be a reminder of how rushing to judgment can ruin the life of an innocent person. Fake news has a big impact to someone's life. It can bring harm to the mental health of the victim. It may disappear over time, but it will remain in the mind and personality of the person affected. We can say how it feels unless it happened to us. So, we should be very careful in spreading information in any media platform. In conclusion, we must not easily believe anything from people or from media unless they are fact-checked or have evidence that they are true. We have to be media literate or have the ability to access and analyze media messages as well as create, reflect, and take action using the power of information and communication to make a difference in the world. Yes, we live in a scary time where it's hard to trust anyone, and in the end, fake news won't go away. But a combination of digital news literacy and better oversight from the social platforms would make a huge difference. Once again, thank you so much to our guests for giving us your time and for sharing your thoughts and opinions. We have learned a lot from you today. This has been your host, Nicole Ocampo. This is Think Talk. Here, we always think the talk. We are not biased. Whatever your opinion is will be recognized. Thank you for watching. Have a great day.